My dear friends, our present situation or the present state of our life is dependent on two factors. First and foremost, the choice that we make, because at every stage of our life there are various choices that we are called to make. And whatever decision we take, whatever choice we make, determines the outcome or our present situation in life. And the second is the choice of God or the call of God. We see that God chooses a person for some specific purpose or for some specific task that He has in mind. And therefore, if we look back at our lives, each and every one of us have been given a particular mission by the Lord. And in our own ways, we are asked to fulfill that mission. Similarly, we see that when God selects us to do something, He does not always select the best. He selects those who He feels will become better. Because sometimes when we are good at something, there is the temptation of being taken by pride. The pride of being good at something. And thus we see that slowly the performance tends to fade. But when somebody who is not worthy is chosen, that person will be ever faithful. He will be ever grateful. And that is exactly what the Lord wants of us. He expects us to be faithful and committed to His cause. In a way, we see that God gives hope to the hopeless. And that was exactly the case with Matthias. As we are told, the two of them were there for the election. And now how did the apostles decide? They didn't just get up one day and say, today we will select Matthias. No. We are told that they prayed, they discerned. They prayed to the Lord and asked the Lord what was His will. And when it comes to our lives, whenever we take any major decision, we need to give importance to God. We need to ask the Lord to guide us, to lead us, so that whatever decision we take may be in accordance to His plan. And therefore we see this also implies that we need to be available. We need to have that ability to say yes to God. Just as Mary was available, just as Mary said yes and then became part of the plan of salvation, similarly our availability, our yes to God is very important. Now you may wonder, what would be the situation of Barsabbas? Matthias was selected, Barsabbas was not selected. Was he disappointed? Was he very angry? No. Because we are told that these two were the ones who had journeyed with Jesus, who had spent time with Jesus. And therefore, by knowing Jesus very well, Barsabbas would have realized that he was called for something greater. He was called for something different. And that is why he probably would have been happy that Matthias was selected, and he would have gladly been available for whatever the Lord had asked him to do. Because we see that God always selects what is best for us. Sometimes what God selects may not be in accordance to our plan. But at the same time, we need to be humble enough to accept the plan of God in our lives. And therefore Jesus says that all of us are His friends. Jesus always had this relation of a friend with others, rather than being a master and a student or a master and servant. We see that Jesus was one with the others. That is why people were so attracted to Him. That is why people would come from villages in order to meet Him and spend time with Him. And above all, Jesus gives us one of the most important missions in our lives. That is, to love one another as He has loved us. We see that if we are able to do this, the whole world would be a better place. Our families would be happy families. Our neighborhoods would be joyful, happy neighborhoods. And there would be a lot of peace in the world as well. As we reflect on these readings, we ask the Lord for the grace of peace, availability, and most importantly, the grace to love one another and create a better world. Amen.